In this lesson, we're going to be talking about messaging. And, let's just get into it and we'll talk about what messaging is. So, messaging is the process of one sprite sending a message to another sprite. And you might be like, well, that sounds pretty simple. The issue is that all sprites send and receive messages. And you might be like, well, no, that makes sense. But no, when I say all sprites send and receive messages, I mean all of the sprites receive all of the messages. And you hopefully maybe you're starting to realize, well, wait, that could actually be an issue. And where this starts to come into play is, yeah, we can have something like an LED light strip, but if we only want one light to change a certain way, we have to be able to talk to just that one light. And so this is actually kind of a really big idea, and Scratch obviously simplifies this down to a point where we can actually kind of think about this. So what happens is a sprite uses what's called a broadcast block. And what that does is that sends out the message. You could think of it as like a broadcast from a radio. Everyone that has a radio in their car and is listening to the radio at the time the broadcast goes out, everyone can hear the message. But it might only mean something to certain people. Let's just say we were all listening to the same radio station, we're all different away from each other, but we had like a code word. And let's just say it was bubbles. And whenever I said bubbles, whoever was able to call me first past the class, no one else would know what that means except for those that are actually listening for me to say the word bubbles. So the message goes out to all the sprites, it goes out to all the radios, and a sprite will only receive the message if the when I receive script is set to receive that specific message. Again, think of that bubbles idea. You find all of this in the event script, and that's where you find the when I receive message, broadcast, and wait. We don't really use the broadcast and wait too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Alex, and Alex can be dude, chick, whatever, and it's going to wait to receive an H or an E from the keyboard. Now, this is a type of message, but we're not really going to dive into that too far. But they're gonna wait for an H or they're gonna wait for an E, whichever one. And whenever they receive an H, she's gonna tell the horse to rear. The horse's name is Trigger because why not? And then when Trigger receives the rear message, he will rear up. And so Alex is gonna broadcast like rear, and Trigger's gonna rear up. And then whenever Alex gets an E, she's going to tell the elephant to blow his horn. And so whenever the elephant receives the horn message, he will blow his horn. Now, Trigger is going to get the horn message, just isn't going to do anything about it. And the elephant is going to get the rear message, but just isn't going to do anything about it. All right, let's go and get Trigger, and let's go and get the elephant. You can switch this out. They should have two different costumes. Some kids like to not be, limited to just horses, but they should have two costumes that look different. We're also going to get some sounds, so go find the sound thing, and you can modify it. So let's go and grab those real quick. I'm just going to delete Scratch. Thanks, not today though, bud. Let's look up an animal. I guess I can just type in here, horse. Oh, I could do a unicorn. If you hover over, well, it used to be that you could. Yeah, if you hover over, it'll show you if there's any extra, what the other costumes are. It'll cycle between them. So like this unicorn here doesn't have any other ones, so I'm just going to go with the horse because it has two things. There's the horse, and they can even look in costumes. So yeah, there's two. All right, let's go get the elephant. Just because we're in that mood, I know we haven't gotten to it in the instructions yet, but we're going to get the elephant. And costumes. Yep, he has two costumes. Cool. All right, going back to the horse. We can always rename our sprites, so let's go ahead and rename this one Trigger. Trigger. And we're going to go make sure we have a horsey noise. I think I turned that off on this thing. Here we go. That's not going to get annoying at all. I'm going to mute it for you guys so you don't get distracted by it. All right. So we have Trigger, we have elephant. Oh, you know what we also need? We need Alex. Oh, I think she's actually called Abby now. I thought it was Alex. Is it Alex still? Nope. All right, no. I'm just going to grab Abby. All right. There's Abby. And she's going to be talking to The elephant, some people like to call it Dumbo. And then we also have Abby, or we're going to refer to her as Alex today. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of work through this. Let's see here. Too far. Oh, not far enough. All right. Did that. All right. So let's make the horse rear up. So we're just going to switch the costumes. Now, anytime that the green flag is clicked, we want to kind of have the same look to everything. And that's important because we want them to be down like this, so whenever it rears, we can actually see the difference between the two. So when the green flag is clicked, switch costume to, oops, I'm on Abby right now. Sorry, guys. Let's go to trigger. All right. When the green flag is clicked, switch costume to horse A. That's what he's in right now. I can even go check this right here. All right. Now, let's make it so it looks like he rears up. So switch to costume B. And whenever he rears up, let's make a sound. Horse. And then looks. Switch to costume A. So if I double click on this, he rears up. And didn't go back to A for some reason. There we go. Now just had to click again. Alright, so rears up, does everything that we wanted to. Cool. Did that. Did that. Yep. And elephant, we did that. Oh yeah, we gotta go find sound for the elephant, because he doesn't come with one. Or... Oh, you should have this by default on yours, but it's just kind of ridiculous. So what noise the elephant makes by default? Yeah, we're going to toss that. Let's go find a trumpet. Actually, I kind of like the trombone. Is there another trombone? Yeah, doesn't matter. You live with that. I'm going to do the trombone. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing. So whenever the green flag is clicked, we want it to look like elephant A. Then we're going to build, switch costume to, oops, not A, switch to B. It's going to make a move, and while I'm here, I'm going to go grab this, just be A. Go to sounds, play the sound. So now, when I click this, he looks like that. Oops. Start sound. I want it to play sound until done. There we go. Alright. I'll turn off that noise for you guys. And did that, did that, did that, and did that. Alright. Yep, we did that. It's changed. We did that. Oh, correct position. So one thing that we want to make sure that we do, we want them to be in the same spot every time. So whenever we have trigger selected, let's just go grab the go to. I'll just put them in the right spot each time. And go to. This way they're in the same spot. Alright. Good think of me. Alright, let's go grab Alex or Abby. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have Alex send a message, the message rear. And she's just going to broadcast the message. It says, like, send the message to trigger. It actually sends it to everybody, but only trigger responds. So, I'm going to go to Abby. And we're going to have her say something. It's going to say trigger. Rear up. And once she's done saying that, it's going to broadcast. And we can actually change what these messages are if I click on here. New message. And it is important to name your messages so that you know what it's supposed to do. Rear up. So if I click on this, she says trigger rear up. And then nothing happens. Why not? Well, the reason why is because the broadcast rear, yeah, everyone's hearing it, like Trigger's hearing it, and the elephants are hearing it, nothing's being done. And even kind of more important is noticing that the say means absolutely nothing to either of these. Even whenever we turn on the broadcast stuff, this say stuff means nothing to either of these two sprites. So let's go back to trigger. And whenever I receive rear, I'm going to do something. So let's go back to Abby and see if this works. Trigger up. Hey, it worked. I turned off the noise so that you guys didn't have to hear it. But it did what it was supposed to do. Alright. Did that. And let's do the horn thing. So, let's see, motion. No, it looks right. Say, Dumbo, toot your horn for 2 seconds. And control, nope. Events, broadcast. Now, if we did rear, let's just do it. Why not? Dumbo, toot your horn. Trigger did that. Well, why? Because we broadcast rear. Again, it doesn't care that it said Dumbo. So what it cares about is what it says. So let's go new message and let's just call it toot. Toot. All right. Now, if I click on this, Dumbo, toot your horn. Nothing happens. Because we didn't tell Elephant to listen for, or when it receives toot, it's supposed to do something. All right, let's try it again. Dumbo, toot your horn. There we go. All right. Now that's all well and good. And it works. However, what we wanted to do is we wanted to activate whenever we have the H key or the E key clicked. H for horse, E for elephant. So if I go over here to where we got when the space key is pressed, put it above here. Horses, I want it to be H. Oh, I thought I could do that. It's an alphabetical though. And Dumbo, it's an elephant, so we want E. One other thing I might think of is making sure that Alex is in the same place each time. Motion, go to her current location. All right, and did that. All right, so now if I hit the green flag, if I do E, does its thing, H, does its thing. All right, awesome. So at this point, if your teacher has something else for you to do, go and do that. For those of you currently in my class, at least the time of me making this video, we're just going to do what this assignment says. So make sure it only works for H and E, not any other keys. Add comments to every code. Submit the completed assignment. Some of the reason that this one is like kind of already done for us as we came through this, I want you guys to play a game with a partner. You're going to need to choose, one of you needs to choose a number from 1 to 50. And I want you to try and come up with a system that you're going to use to guess the numbers. Once you play this a little bit, try and come up with a strategy and maybe make it a competition. Who can get to the number faster in the least number of moves? And actually, maybe we'll play a little game with this too. So, thanks for following along.